that is what we're dealing with here. That is the world that we're getting into,
Yep.
right? When
We
we're
always
looking at these files.
and we always know these worlds exist. It's just we have never look into it. It's just
Yeah.
it's never been a thing where we can glance into this space even.
Well, one of our first real looks into it is Stanley Kubrick's last movie, Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes wide shut. Yeah.
Hmm. But again, like you said, these are conspiracy theories that I remember reading about in the 90s. I used to have a bunch of the New World Order book, Behold a Pale Horse. Behold a Pale Horse, William Cooper talks about child sex trafficking rings that go up into the, upper echelons of power.
Right.
And he was talking about it back in the post Vietnam days.
What I think, I mean, because they definitely dealt with that. One of the things that I think people don't understand is like whenever people from other countries come and conquer another country, even a war, their
Hmm.
women and children are
Our
just
prizes.
yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's one of the things that definitely was happening back then in Vietnam, 110% for sure.
In Vietnam, in Germany, all across Europe, and I'm not talking about even historically. I just mean in World War II. I'm
Yeah,
sure it
yeah.
happened in Korea. I'm sure after the Korean War, there was a large influx of Korean wives in America.
And they were well, there's still to this day, there's
No, I mean
a
to this
weird
day, but I'm sure
yeah.
that after the Korean War, a lot of these guys that were there either brought some over themselves or kept connections in Korea where they were able to get a wife or, bring a wife over. Dude, a friend of mine lives up in I've mentioned him before. He lives in upstate Florida, and his stepfather was married to a South Asian woman, and they got a divorce after she'd been here for like 10 years. They got a divorce, and within a week, the pastor from the area was at the old man's house trying to convince him to meet some woman from the same country that was a part of their mission in that country. And the
Mm,
idea was to marry her to this man that's an octogenarian. I think that's the right way to say it. Anyway, he's 80 plus. Um, and she was probably in her 30s or 40s. But the idea was to get her over here, get her married, and it's just like a system.
mm, mm. Yeah,
But
like a
them fucking
pipeline.
Mexicans picking your fruits, man, they gotta go.
In the Cypher podcast, folks, I do think that that's an important aspect to mention is that there is some kind of, you know, go to the winner go the spoils, and that's kind
Yeah.
of the situation that we dealt with and we see on a consistent, on a constant basis. Now,
Hmm.
what one of the things I wanted to mention also was, and it's already been blown up, was the fact that JP Morgan Chase was heavily involved in this. And I believe Deutsche Bank also. I have to
Yep.
double check on Deutsche, but I believe so as well. They were
Hmm.
heavily involved because there were a lot of transactions. And one of the individuals that was doing business with um, Jeffrey Epstein left Deutsche Bank, or I believe was kicked out after
Yes.
they found out about the transactions that were going on. But this individual is still not under arrest. He's still living high and fly on the hog, and
It's
there's
like we
nothing.
said about it's like we said about Prince Andrew. The actions that have been taken have they've been, for me and you, would be the equivalent of losing our current job,
110%,
right? But nobody's gone to
110%.
jail.